What's going on, everyone? Monday. We don't have that many Mondays left, by the way. I haven't done the exact math, but maybe like three more after today. Tomorrow, next week, we don't have a Monday because Memorial Day. Yeah, our time is dwindling, which, hey, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for summer. I'm ready for summer. I think it's going to feel like summer by the time we get out of here today. It'll be like almost 80, so it should be nice. Thunder showers at some point, but I think it'll be good while it lasts, which might not be too long. But hey, we've gotten over the worst of it. So those March days, I don't know about you, but March is like the worst for me. It's like just there's no vacation there really, and snowy. You're done with winter. Now we're ready to go. Irena Sendler. I do not think we are going to finish today. I think we will finish tomorrow. But if you remember, Irena Sendler, from before testing, she was a Polish Christian social worker. In fact, I asked ChatGPT, not sure, I'm pretty sure you've heard about this thing by now. It's pretty cool. I downloaded it on my phone. It's like AI that will give you information. It will help you like write first drafts of papers, I would say. First drafts, because then like you have to make it your own eventually, or if somebody knows what they're doing, they're like, oh wait, that's ChatGPT, because it tends to throw out kind of the same thing, sort of. I don't know. It's pretty good though. So what I did was I asked ChatGPT, hey, I think right here. I said, hey, ChatGPT. I know Siri is probably identifies as female, I guess. Just the default is female. I'm not sure about ChatGPT. Maybe it's a guy. Maybe we don't have to apply. I asked ChatGPT, hey, give me 5 facts about Irena Sendler for 8th graders. And then I did it again for 9th graders, and it was different. I only have 200 characters for each of these, for these banners at the bottom. So I stuck with the 8th graders, even though you're probably closer. You are definitely closer to 9th graders than 8th graders. I feel like I have to sneeze. I'm not sure how anybody's allergies are, but excuse me. Sneeze into the sleeve, right? Just like a cough. All right. So I asked ChatGPT, give me 5. This is what they said. They. Just call them. Let's use the pronoun they. Certainly, here are 5 facts about Irena Sendler that are suitable for 8th graders. Right here. Just to give us a little background, just to remind us, it's been a few days since we've read about Irena Sendler. She's certainly someone worth remembering. Irena Sendler was a Polish social worker who saved the lives of around 2,500 Jewish children during the Holocaust. Maybe you knew that, if you remember from last week. Okay. She worked as part of an underground network called Zygota, which aimed to rescue Jews from the Warsaw Ghetto and provide them with new identities. So far, so good. I think we've learned about that. Sendler helped children escape by providing them with false documents and finding them safe hiding places outside the ghetto. So far, so good. Number 4, to keep a record of the children she rescued, Sendler wrote their real names on slips of paper, which she then buried in jars in a garden. And in Poland, like for British English, a garden might not necessarily have vegetables in it. It might be just like a backyard for us. This would later help reunite some of the children with I only had like 250 characters here, so it did cut off the last part of it. This one almost got I think it was with their parents. This one got cut off too, but it was like right in the middle of a sentence. So this is a 2-parter. In 1965, Irena Sendler was recognized as one of the righteous among the nations by Yad Vashem, Israel's official memorial to the victims of the Holocaust. So for some reason, like in 1965, they knew about her, but then I guess kind of her memory disappeared. And then this is the last part of the 5th fact. Her heroic efforts were not widely known until a group of students from Kansas discovered a story in 1999. All right, and today we're going to learn a little bit more about what those students did for her memory. And this is what ChatGPT ended with. These facts highlight Irena Sendler's remarkable bravery and the impact she had during one of history's darkest times. Like, not bad. Not bad. I'm not sure if you can write complete papers because a lot of times in high school you're going to be asked to like cite, like where did you get this information? But I do think Chat GPT is going to be able to help you write some first drafts. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Oh man, it's not much longer, right? We won't need to learn to read or write, and that kind of makes us useless. Like, what's our purpose going to be once the machines take over? All right. Hope you enjoyed that, and I thought it served as like a nice refresher to get us back into this article, which we've only read like 5 paragraphs. So let's I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Whoa, too big. Always does that. Make it a little bit bigger. Still too big. And then we'll carry on here with paragraph 6. It was a question that came up early on in the students' research. Okay, the question was, how did she dare? Like, remember we said she was like 4 something, not very tall. How did she dare sneak past the guards? And then I think in one of the classes, maybe a few of them, I kind of likened her to Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was also very small, even though it seems like Harriet Tubman was like, she could probably hold her own though, even though she was short. I don't think you want to mess with her. But anyways, Irena Sendler seemed like they compared her to a doll. So like, how did she have this much courage? And maybe the fact that she was so small is like, these Nazi guards with guns are like, she poses no problem, and she'd smuggle the kids out. And maybe we talked about, I think we ended last time because I rewatched it. I had to figure out where we were. Like crying babies, how do you smuggle them out? I don't know. Unless they just imagine like Irena Sendler was like a mom and she brought her kid into the ghetto or whatever and then was just taking her own kid out. I don't know. But that's a question that comes up with these students in Kansas, 1999. They began to realize that there had been no typo in the original article. Irena had indeed saved 2,500 children. Yet the students never expected to be able to ask Irena that question. They assumed that Irena, who was born in 1910 and had endured torture at the hands of the Gestapo, we know what the Gestapo is. I think we don't have to look up that footnote there. The Nazi secret police during the war must have passed away. They wanted to know where she was buried. They were thrilled to discover she was still alive. Yeah, I forgot at what year she passed away. This is 1999. Don't quote me. We could ask ChatGPT. Probably we could probably ask Siri. I think it's 2009 or 2010. Hey Siri, when did Irena Sendler pass away? 2008. Yeah, 2008. So not ChatGPT. I did it old school with Siri. Siri's pretty good for most things. But probably ChatGPT would have given us a few extra things. Yeah, I just downloaded it to my phone. So, but I think, well, you have to type it in. But actually, you don't have to type it in. I think I can talk into it. Hey, no, it's just, never mind. It was whatever. We got more things to do. But it was just talk. It was just typing what I was talking. And we went on. 2008, she died. So these students from Warsaw, no, not from Warsaw, from Kansas, are going to ask her. The girls, who by that time had written a 10-minute play, Life in a Jar, depicting Irena's rescue efforts, decided to write to Irena, who was living with relatives in a tiny apartment in Warsaw. They mentioned their play, which had won the state history contest and would be performed at the National History Day competition. They asked for more details about her life, and they asked, where did she find the courage? My parents taught me, Irena wrote back, that if a man is drowning, it is irrelevant what is his religion or nationality. One must help him. And that was one of our words there, like, right? Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Irena was born in Warsaw on February 15th, 1910, but spent most of her youth in Otwock, a town with a vibrant Jewish community. At the end of World War I, a typhus epidemic broke out, and Irena's father, there are going to be a few Polish names here that I am just not even going to try to pronounce. Dr. Stan, devoted himself to caring for impoverished, very nice way to say poor, impoverished Jews suffering from the disease. He contracted typhus from his patients and passed away. Irena was just 7 years old. She and her mother eventually returned to Warsaw, where Irena completed school and enrolled in Warsaw University. In those days, there were strict rules dictating the separation of Jewish and non-Jewish students who were not allowed to sit together in or out of class. Irena refused to obey these rules and was suspended for 1 year. She managed to complete her studies, and by September 1939, when the Nazis invaded Poland, she was a social worker employed by the Warsaw Welfare Department. So if you remember September 1st, 1939, that is when the Nazis invade Poland, as they say. But even before then, there were rules, seems like in Poland, even before the Nazis invaded, that there were rules about people who were Jewish and not Jewish. So I do want to stress again, it wasn't just the Nazis that were anti-Semitic, that were against the Jewish people. It was a lot. Like, I can't remember which one of the Baltic countries. Might have been Lithuania. It was either Lithuania or Latvia. But like, they were ready and welcoming the Nazis so that they could help with the final solution. So it was not just the Nazis. It was widespread in Europe at this time. And as you saw in what we watched last week too, with the Hasidic Jews in New York, that Peter Santinello video, like there's anti-Semitism that they still have to deal with in the United States. And he also mentioned how, a lot of families, even to this day, even though the Holocaust was 80 years ago, even though the Holocaust was that long ago, you have descendants of Holocaust survivors that their families are just all messed up because of the trauma that some of the family members had to go through. Horrible stuff. All right. I think we're down here, right? 11. Those who knew her say that it had always been Irena's nature to help. Though she lost her father at an early age, his dedication to others, reinforced by her mother's example and words, made a deep impression on her. Still, though still young, she already had a history of sacrifice on behalf of others and of defying rising anti-Semitism to reach out to and stand up for Jews. All right, how about the last paragraph here? Almost as soon as the Nazi occupation began, Irena began making forged documents. So forged, fake, for Jewish friends. She also offered food. Remember, back in this time here, I think it was pretty easy to forge documents. A lot easier then than it is today. She also offered food and shelter to the increasingly persecuted Jewish population. Then in 1940, she witnessed the imprisonment of nearly 500,000 Jews in the Warsaw Ghetto, an area the size of New York Central Park. So we talked about that, like 1 square mile. One class, I think we figured out what 1 square mile was, right? I think Chase found it out, right? Shout out, Chase. If you start at our front door here at AMS, walk down the street, and you get to around Heathcote's, that's about a mile. So take the length from the door to the road and then just kind of turn it, and that's your square mile. That's one side of a square. So not very big for you got over 400,000 people in that small area. If there's an outbreak of typhus, like it's going to run rampant throughout the ghetto. So Irena was aware of that. She lost her father to typhus. All right, because he was a doctor. She continued making false documents for those who escaped or had gone into hiding to avoid the ghetto. Between 1939 and 1942, Irena, with the assistance of a few trusted friends, forged over 3,000 documents to save Jewish families. Yeah, this is the part we're just barely, I think we'll stop here, but I mean, I worry about pronouncing those two names. I'm not even going to try it, but Zigota, probably saying that wrong, but I know the Z is like what I said. That was that secret kind of organization that helped people who were Jewish. All right. Got some time. You might be able to get a little further in your work on the Google form for Irena Sendler. Some people have already passed it in. So I know they read ahead, which is great. Got some over the weekend. And we'll get into a little bit more of Cryer's Cross. There is, because of the play, not everybody was here, but if you want to take the Irena Sendler vocabulary quiz, I have a few more study guides to pass back. But yeah, that should be our day. And then by the end of the week, we will start our mini unit on Mount Vesuvius and Pompeii in Italy. All right. Adios. Maybe poetry. I don't know. I've heard some clamoring. Some people, Block A, might want to do a little poetry. Let me know. Send me an email. Vote in the poll.